Welcome to Rules of Villainy episode 62, where 3 new trading card game players quest and challenge their way to the competitive top tables and discuss their opinions on Disney's Lorcana. This evening, we'll be covering the latest news in Lorcana and answering your questions and going over the latest developments in the Fabled metagame. I'm Villain Vince, joined as always by my 2 co-hosts, Villainy Andy and the mayor of Lorcana himself, Brad. How we doing?
Andy just, what's up?
I mean, that's what he always
a casual peace sign.
I was actually gonna, start this episode beforehand with like a little warning, be like, do you know any Lorcana addicts? Is there somebody that's itching to find a Fable pack? Is there somebody that's in your Discord that's constantly asking if LGS stores have product?
Yeah.
If so, they may need help.
Help finding packs.
1-800.
Quite a few targets around here have
resist
boosties.
packs.
Yeah. I'm getting some target boosties for sure. But hopefully more LGSs will start getting more product in and be able to get all the product you want.
We'll have a big Lorcana party.
Everybody opening packs.
Yeah.
Apparently, I have more energy than you guys do at this juncture.
It's been a long day. It's
It's been a very long day.
In many multitudes, let's just say. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, both of you had some pretty decent lucks with your target troves.
Well, as a whole, yes, I have. Just the other night, Monday night after game night, Vince actually let me know that our closest target has their supply come in, and I'm like, all right, I guess I'll make a late trip over. I need a few things anyway, and I bought 2 troves. I brought one home. I let Emily pick one, and I picked the other, and I opened the other. She, of course, got the good one, and within the good one was the Chanty Bell. I'm so excited about it. It's one of the couple on this set. This one, Scar, and Mickey Mouse, which I already have, or like 3 of the time. I mean, they're all very, very good. But yeah, Mickey Mouse, Michael Mouse himself. Yeah, she pulled the bell, and I was like, I love you.
I got a Michael Mouse.
She's always got the best luck.
Yeah, that was honestly my chase, is that Enchanted. So you pulled it, and I was like, oh, I picked the wrong trove.
First thing I told Emily after she opened it was, "Oh, Vince is gonna be mad."
I'm not gonna be mad. I'm happy for you. I'm glad you've got it. It's all good.
Kirsten also pulled a Mickey Mouse from her trove as well.
Yeah,
from a
you have
target
2 Mickey
trove.
Mouses. Oh, that Mickey Mouse, the iconic. That was after
Michael
we
Mouse.
Recorded last week, right?
Yeah,
it was.
So for our listeners,
oh my God,
what has been shown on screen thus far is the Enchanted Bell, the Enchanted Mickey Steamboat Pilot, and the Enchanted, the iconic Mickey Mouse.
Yes,
from
Incredible.
Brave Little Prince, if you will.
If you want to see somebody in the purest excitement that you could ever imagine, go check out Kirsten, ROV Kirsten, on which she should probably put it on Instagram, right?
Yeah.
Of her opening that pack. The just encompasses all of the excitement that Disney Lorcana brings. She gave us a warning too.
Just to be clear, you don't just hear her excitement, you hear Andy's excitement in the background of it too. Which honestly, I don't very often hear. Don't get me wrong, I hear we hear Kirsten's excitement a lot. So I was like, when she got it, I was very I was like, wait, I don't watch it again. I was like, is that Andy's getting excited over something? What's going on? No. That is totally not legit pure excitement.
I was like
they make fun of me. They make fun of me about the when Toy Story came in. The whole thing we talked about last. That was the equivalent of excitement that we heard from Andy. It's too bad that is not on camera. We've got the audio of it. We'll insert the audio right here. And you be the judge.
Warning for your ears.
You have to listen.
Yeah. Proper warning too, because she's screaming at the excitement of that card, and I would be too. That's amazing. So happy for you guys.
Yeah.
Before moving on to anything else, talking about card sale, I wanted to give a shout out to Nettie and Tim. We had that 1K for them this past weekend, and she gave me a playset of the promos from Disneyland. We got the Belle and the Beast as well, and completely unexpected, and can't thank her enough for those.
Yeah,
they are so much prettier in person. And
do you know what I got this weekend?
A rock.
These cards. Nothing.
You didn't buy anything? That's
no. I mean, I bought product, but I didn't get anything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, don't mistake. He opened packs. He just didn't get nothing.
I didn't get anything. I ain't get nothing. Nothing.
I guess that makes sense. Yeah, you told me that the Target.
You can watch
packs,
Vince.
So it would be weird if you didn't buy them.
You can watch Vince get nothing on TikTok if you'd like.
Yeah. You can. Yeah, this is why, like, you congratulate Andy and Kirsten. I'm like, y'all stop, please. Okay, like, I'm gonna be by the going rate here. I'm gonna be like on day like 1,000 and still not have an enchanted pulled on.
Well, how many days did it take Hummingbird Designs we watched them every single day before they pulled one, right? But you know what you got that's even better is once we hit 1,000 subscribers here or on TikTok or wherever people want to follow us, you got that Topps Chrome Mickey Mouse whatever pack that probably has something incredible in it. I can't wait to see what you finally open in there.
We'll see.
Well, it probably has something incredibly expensive in it. A little underwhelming. We'll have to see.
I don't know.
Some of those are.
You're underwhelming.
They're not Lorcana cards.
Okay.
Right? They're not Lorcana cards. Right?
That is true.
With that, let's move on to Underworld news. So this past weekend, there were two major events. We had the Charlie's collectible show, CCS.
Yeah.
And we had Ink, and we had friends of the pod teammate, Lady Brit go, top 2 of the Lorcana Ladies Championship. So we want to give a shout out to her. Congratulations to it. My understanding is that they split top 4, but then they played out the last round just like a one of to see who would get like this artist exclusive like thing, right? One of one thing. So
It should also be noted too that she was one game away from top 32 in the main event. Like she had an incredible weekend twice in a row. This is the second time they went to CCS in the last couple months, and she's just absolutely killing it. So proud.
That's right. I mean, I'm definitely proud. If you would like that as well, we've got her coaching guide on. No, I'm just kidding. We do not have. That's a joke. I'm just kidding. But she is a member of the Rules of Villainy team. And then friend of the team and friend of the pod as well is Alex, Illuminator Fortune, who took top 4 of the Ink Infinity 5K event that they had, I believe, on Sunday. Was that
correct?
Was it Sunday that they did that?
Yeah. Yep.
And he went all the way, and he got taken down by Wonderland, I believe, right? For the Seattle DLC winner. And it looks like they had a lot of fun, a blast. We should try to get Alex on the show and talk about that.
Yeah,
especially talk about.
I think he just released a video on it. I'll look it up and make sure before I confirm that. But if he did, there'll be a link in the description because I got a notification from something he uploaded today, and I think it was his experience at Ink, and it'd probably be really good to watch. All his videos are incredible. So
you should definitely go check things out. I didn't want to hit him up because, like, it's same with like Ron and Britt. Those tournaments can take a toll. It's always good to have a little bit of a break.
Yeah. And I know that the Ink Infinity event was they were the final round. Luke was playing, and they started the round at like 8:10, 8:05 or whatever it was, and that might have been like, I think that was 9:05 Eastern time. And they said, "All right, guys, we have to stop playing at 35 after the hour, 9:35." And then you get
they have to be out of the mall. Yeah.
Out of the mall. No, we have to stop playing because they had to be out of the mall at 10 p.m. Eastern, and they had to pack everything up. And so it was pretty cool to see them. It come down to they stayed they got their money's worth there. They stayed every minute they could We got all the excitement, and I think Luke took that down, right? And got first in a 2-0.
I did,
so
yes.
Luckily, we didn't have to go to time there.
Yeah, it very well could have with his Sapphire Steel versus a Sapphire Ruby. You know, those matches go through the entireties of their deck. So, but yeah, just two great players and a great match to watch.
Yep.
More about that later.
So congrats to them and congrats to everybody that played. We also have some upcoming events too. We have, that's I think pretty small event. I believe the mayor is going to cast it. Something about Glass City Showdown. I believe
it's like Glass City Showdown. Yeah,
it's. I mean, 13K, not that big of a deal. Totally small event. No. We will be September 27th and 28th. So coming up before you know it in Farmington Hills, Michigan. I was almost going to say Missouri, but Michigan. It's in Farmington Hills, Michigan. And the mayor himself will be casting with some illustrious casters, including Luke as well. You'll be right there with Wonderland himself in the casting booth.
Got to give him a little John Mayer. Give him a little of John Mayer, Brad. The mayor needs to give him the mayor.
that would be in private.
Have you told Brad
On
that
stream.
We're getting him a totally full body Ruby costume that he needs to wear?
Mascot costume?
One round. Yeah, mascot costume that he needs to wear one full round.
You gotta wear your jersey, Brad.
I'll have maybe the jersey. But I don't know if I talked about this on the podcast last week, but I got a couple Roosevelt shirts now that I'm really digging. So specifically for that event, I'm excited to wear some really good looking Disney attire.
I'll get you a couple of the temporary tattoos. You put them both like under your eyes, like war paint. The two ruby tattoos on.
Yeah, maybe I'll paint my hair purple too.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm telling you what, I think JDZ would do it. I think if we gave him a temporary tattoo, he would 100% do it. He would.
On his face?
He would do it. On his face. I think he would commit to the bit.
Yeah, that's a big, that's pretty bold, Vince. We'll have to ask him.
Listen.
You gotta paint your chest, Brad.
We have a teammate that did it, and they were committed to the bit. And they forgot they had it on and went into a sword.
Forgot it was on his face.
It's pretty easy to get off though if you know how to get it off. So we have that event, and then in the beginning of October, we have the Impact Gaming Center, Enchanted Elsa, Spirit of Winter, Fabled Set Champs Extravaganza, Rules of Villainy, Extra Prizing Extravaganza. Sorry, I'm going to try to make this longer every single time that we do this podcast. It's just going to get longer. That's going to be Saturday, October 4th. So if you're doing something October 4th, you should cancel it unless it is this Impact Gaming Center, and you should come, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We got a bunch of prizing. I believe it's going to be the first place person will get the Enchanted Elsa and a box, is it, of Fabled?
I think so. At least.
And then stage pricing beforehand. And then as always, we have our patented TM special ticketing system that will put you into a bunch of lotteries to win some fantastic pricing. Andy, do you have like a brief list of prizes that people could win?
Oh my goodness. We have Jafar Set Champs Enchanted cards, Hero Set Champs Enchanted cards. We have banners. We have a Stitch banner and a Tinkerbell banner. At least one of them will be available as a raffle prize. The other we may use as like top prizing to like second, third, fourth, somewhere in there. But we also have a Hero Set Champs playmat. I believe 2 of those. And when I said Hero Set Champs and Jafar Set Champs Enchanted, I meant lots and lots and lots of them.
Yeah, if you're looking for
Scars, we have Scars, we have Jafars, Scars, Jafars, and Heroes. We have Enchanted cards. We have an Enchanted Alice. That card is up and coming in Sapphire Steel. Yeah. Just a ton of other prizes here. There's just too many.
Of things.
I jumped around in the list and now I can't remember.
I get it.
the big ones. We have autographed Baymax and
Right.
Koeteeuw
We do. That's
from-
right. From the NA
Continentals. Yes, from Continentals. Autographed by both Ryan, Steve Warner, and the artist, I believe, on both of them. So
yeah, that's awesome. We're really excited about it. Yeah, you should come. You should come do it. Because here's the thing: we want to put the Midwest on the map for Lorcana, and the way to do that is to come to Impact Gaming Center, play in this set champs. And here's the thing: is like this is a little crazy. Some little background knowledge for you all and stuff. Originally, we wanted this to be a cash tournament and then offer a whole bunch of prizing. But the thing is that we all on this podcast, most in particular, who's not here, Villainous Kirsten, really want to get the Maleficent Monstrous Dragon playmat. I mean, who doesn't, right? It's a gorgeous playmat. That card is gorgeous. It's so fantastic. There aren't a lot of opportunities that month. And there's also the DLC. And so we said, you know what? We're going to make a compromise here. We're going to see if we, instead of cash, because here's the thing, we know if you got the cash, you would just go buy this enchanted Elsa that's sitting in their case. So we said, you know what? We'll make that the first prize. Impact Gaming Center did that for us, and it was great. But I believe in the future, we will do more cash-based tournaments. And the way to do that is come support this event here, so we can justify doing future events like this in the future, if you will.
And then one day, CCQ, St. Louis CCQ, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, maybe day 2 stuff. Who knows? The sky's the limit here. A lot of things could happen.
Absolutely.
We are really excited, but we want to have a really great one-day event for you to come. So come. There's a hotel right next door to the place too. So, if you're coming from a distance,
then you can stay and you can play in a set champs at another store in the St. Louis area probably the following day. They're most likely
totally
to be
could.
One.
Totally could. With that, let's move on to Constituents Corner. Take it away, Mr. Mayor.
All right, we're going to start with the spiciest one. This is from Jackalope Spam. This really got some heads turning in the Discord. He asked, suppose Mr. Ravensburger calls up ROV and says, one of you, and only one, can cast a DLC. What do you do?
Dibs. Well, I mean, it would be tough, honestly, right? Because we want to put ROV's best foot forward. And so first we look at who's been invited to cast other events. So Brad has, I have as well. Vince hasn't. Okay, so we cross Vince off the list, but then we'd probably have to look at the size of the event that was casted. And I mean, Brad is about to cast a 13K. So as long as he doesn't show up with his underwear on his head and make a total fool of himself, then maybe we'd have to send the mayor of Lorcana. I think for casting a DLC, we could probably get a haberdashery to give us a sponsorship and get him a real top hat, maybe
real
a monocle.
Mayor's hat. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think obviously we have the mayor of Lorcana being the obvious choice, but actually I would put forth Villainous Kirsten as our choice.
And it's not even a cop out. You would think that one of us would be like, oh, we could just pick Kirsten and not have to, pick on each other or whatever. But that was ultimately after a little bit of swaying or whatever, I was going to be like, I think Kirsten, the last 2 games that I've watched her cast was so pleasant and very entertaining to watch. Not that you guys aren't, and you guys are the resident experts of the, me and Kirsten are usually playing. We'll sit in and cast a little bit. I don't have as much experience as you guys, so I was going to count myself out, but I do know that I am maybe more annoyingly online more or present more in the community, but that doesn't make me a good caster by any means. When I listen to you, and you guys have gotten compliments too from multiple people about how well that you've watched the game and understand the game and the things that are coming. Trat Rudros told Andy, he's everything that he is commentating on is what's going through my head at the moment. This those kind of compliments mean a lot because you guys have been doing a lot of these events. So between you guys, I don't know who I would pick because you're both very, very good at it. But then I think about the last 2 events that I've time stamped with Kirsten in the booth, and I'm like,
I could watch a whole event of her doing it too. So, so that was going to be my answer. So that I
would just say she's
YouTube,
also by far I think without question the best player amongst the four of us in DLC rankings. So
I'm just DLC rankings.
So she may need to play. She's going to want to play. That's going to be the biggest problem for her is that she'll want to play.
Yeah.
I also do think though that she does qualify given that she knows the difference between Chernobog's and Chernobog's followers. So,
but I was going to say though, that's the entertainment that people want because my view on that is that like people be talking about that all the time and stuff, and they be like,
"You're right."
And so
you watch F1 for the crashes, right? It's always fun.
Nobody's quoting anything Andy said on the stream before.
It's so
that's
funny.
An argument
so funny. I just want to note I wasn't the first one to bring up F1 in this podcast. So I just want to be clear, and I have a reason to because guess what, guys? Guess what? I bought my ticket.
Anyway, next question,
Melbourne.
Mr. Mayor.
You got it? You got a ticket?
I got a ticket to go to the Melbourne F1 race
in Australia.
Australia next year.
Oh my goodness!
You're going all the way to Australia.
Down under.
That's incredible.
So now we got to see if I'll get a ticket to the Melbourne DLC.
You can make a whole trip out of it, huh?
What was that thing a few weeks ago about how they dress, the culture, or?
Oh yeah, dress. Do you know how to dress Australian?
Dress Australian, yeah. I forget what
is there a difference to how to dress?
You said your friends and you guys were all dressing Australian for Gen Con.
Oh no!
And
my friends were dressing
a little confused as to the nuance of how to dress Australian. Like
honestly, to be
they're not
fair,
known for like lederhosen and
I didn't get it either, but they were just like down under, mate. It's like, okay, all right, go. It's like I feel like that's cultural appropriation, but that's all right. But yeah. I mean, just think about that. You'd go to Reddit and then you would see. Did you see the DLC caster? That's got so excited. It was like Chernobog's falling. It'd be memed everywhere.
I don't think that's what they want down. I don't know if that's what they're going for.
You know what? I tell you what. Fun press like that is good press. All right. I'm just saying. Saying. If you're looking for a fun DLC caster out there, I got you.
I think including myself. I don't know. I'm not confident. I can. We'll wrap it up here in just a second.
Vince is selling himself like a parent who like hits themselves and like falls on purpose and is like, "See, this is funny, right? This is funny. You like this." The kid's like, "Daddy, fall over."
I think any one of us would excel in that opportunity, and I'd be happy for any one of us to go to that. And I think you can make an argument for anybody, but that's where I'm going to leave it. I don't know if you guys have any final.
Next question.
All right, from Lucas, he goes, "What is your least favorite mirror match, and what makes it so bad?" Anybody want to take that one, or you want me to start? Because my mirror matches are Blurple, and they take forever. That's what it is. And I know what Andy's going to say. It's mostly me, but that's not always the case.
No,
there's
it's
just
mostly
a lot
Vince too. I realize you both all are slow, very slow players.
You know what? I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that at all because I have seen you take forever to make decisions in games.
And
the ticket, and I'm so like,
Vince and I when it's in our sealed.
It's important when it's you, but if it's anybody else, it's like, oh, such a simple decision.
I wish we had like a log of the turns because all three of the games we ended up going to time. All three of the games in the sealed I played against Vince. His first turn, I guarantee you, took the longest. He decided the third game, I thought he was doing it on purpose because he was like, it was like a good 25 seconds of thinking and then like inking and passing too, because it's like sealed and there was no one dress. I'm like, bruh.
Monday night.
I do think sometimes when you're trying to, sorry, Brad, I'll just say this real quick. Is that I will say like, when you're playing something like sealed and you don't sometimes not having a one drop can be really hard because it's like what do I want to do now with what I've got in my hand to make the decision to ink now
and pass is what you want.
You are inking and passing, but that is a decision and we talk about
it
obviously.
Andy's just gonna tell you don't need a one drop
I'm
in
just
sealed.
yeah, you don't want a one drop in sealed. That's why it's even more for me. That's why it's even more funny is that like in sealed you just
no, but that's not
like,
my
move on.
that's not my point. That's not my point. My point is like what do you ink then that you would rather want to play? Like you gotta. Sometimes when you don't like, it's easy to like ink and then play a one drop. But like if you've got like two really say good turn 3 cards, like which one do I want to ink here to play? You know, it's like you're trying to like map out your turns a little bit.
Yeah.
If you, if you get that, that's easy. But anyway, Brad, go on. Sorry.
Oh, you're not going to like it. So, on Monday night, I played Vince. I was running a Ruby Steel action deck into his Blurple, and he played that Genie, was a supportive friend, draw 3 on Quest. And I hummed out loud, annoyingly, the Jeopardy. He didn't even hear it. He was too busy watching the game.
No, I did. I just
us.
ignored it because I knew what you were doing.
You didn't acknowledge it at all. I
was just like, whatever. He's going to do this. And honestly, it made me shuffle my deck slower because I was like, I'm just going to hear you do it. And I'm gonna shuffle my deck even slower while you go through your Jeopardy thing.
I want Brad in his top hat with his monocle to pull out his old timey pocket watch whenever Vince starts to shuffle his deck and go and just like start the timer and look at it and look back at Vince and look at it. And then as soon as Vince is done and draws his 3 cards and Brad cuts, he stops it and tells him the time. And then
you know what? I'll be honest.
A certain amount,
if you do that, I will go slower. I will go slower.
And his pocket watch will have a built-in little like red line on it that when the hand goes past it, it just says judge in all red letters. And so Brad yells out,
and you know what?
Judge.
You know what? When the judge comes over, I'll be like, oh, I'm getting old. It's the arthritis. Or you remember when I had that thumb issue and I was wearing the thumb brace? I'll just pull that out and be like, see, it was the thumb.
At least Brad will get a time extension and it won't go to time as you're slow shuffling. I support Brad in his dealing with your slow play.
And to answer going back to Luke's question, I said Blurple because Lucas. That's what I mostly play. But what'd I say?
Luke's.
I just want to be clear. Don't listen to either of these fools. They're both slow players too. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah. The problem is like mirror matches to me in general, this is a whole nother discussion. I don't enjoy them, but I do know that, when you're playing like the best decks like Blurple is right now, you're going to have to play into them and just skill diff your opponent. But like, it's just, when the whole match is predictable, if you're playing the deck and you know the deck well, you know what they likely have, and it just adds another layer of like overthinking, what I chronically do, and it's just not as exciting to me because I'm like, well, okay, I got to beat you to Genie, then I got to beat you to Hades, and then so it's just like, and if the deck doesn't do what it's supposed to do, then it just gets annoying, and you watch them do all the things that your deck is supposed to be doing, and it's just. I don't like mirror matches in general, but they're going to happen when we have these kind of, games and ink combinations. So
hard to disagree.
Really,
I'm going to have to. I almost feel the exact opposite of that. Lorcana is likened to chess, and when you're playing a mirror match, the game becomes
liken it to chess. Let's be clear.
Other people have likened it to chess too. Yeah. I wasn't the inventor of that idea. The game. When you have a mirror match, it becomes even more like chess. The more you know what to expect, the more, like Brad said, skill diff, the more your skill and your decision making, and obviously a little bit of your luck with the shuffle of your deck, that comes into play. A game of chess essentially is just like the longest mirror match ever, and the games always go into the late game, and they always go really, really long, and you get to play all of your pieces and do a million different lines of play. That's why I think players are drawn to decks like Ruby Sapphire in past sets, and even Emerald Sapphire in this set, or Blurple even. That's why Blurple is so popular. It's the most control deck that we have currently, really. And so I like mirror matches. I obviously have to like the deck. So I guess the worst mirror match is like maybe discard decks or like hyper aggro decks where there's not a lot of decision points to be made.
Nobody plays.
But like not current, right? In the current meta, there isn't really any. I would like the Blurple mirror match. I like the Amethyst Steel mirror match. I think we're a little early on, and mirror matches are hard to find true mirror matches. But even at the end of a meta, when like everyone is running DKP's list, like I'm fine playing a card for card mirror match, or usually I'll change one or two cards, try and throw some spice in there and have some fun. But I like that. It allows me to say whether I'm better or not than my opponent at it, versus they just had a aggro deck,
or
and
you
I
just
had
get insanely lucky and your luck too. I mean, I think in some ways what we're seeing a little bit now, although we don't have I think all the math, because the application that we will not name at the moment does not report correctly based on how you're doing on the play versus on the draw, but is there is a pretty strong advantage for going first, right?
It
could be argued
to change something in the game. It always will be.
Winning the die roll can actually matter a little bit. I don't know. I mean, I like playing the game, and mirror matches don't really bother me. I think probably the one that Andy said about the discard, like when you're both competing to discard each other, that can be really annoying. Thankfully, I really never played that deck. I mean, I think I built it and played it like once or twice, but it wasn't. People know my feelings on Emerald, I think, in general. I mean, particularly discard Emerald, that is. So I don't know. I mean, I think there are matches that I get tired of. Like, I was definitely very tired of Ruby Sapphire mirrors in the last set, which is ultimately like why I settled on Blurple, because I wanted to do something a little bit different. So maybe ask me in a month when I've played 20 Blurple mirror matches and see where I end up, or whatever deck I end up deciding to like play. I might get tired of those matchups, but I don't necessarily. There's no real 1-1 match.
All right.
Vince doesn't like mirror matches either. Y'all are mirror match haters, bro. Mirror matches are great.
I didn't say that. I didn't say
there's
that.
levels of them that levels of likeness that I have of them. Like, the question is, what's your least favorite? So I went to the point where I like more interesting matchups and stuff, but I do understand the concept of the mirror, like skill diffing and everything being important. Like, you're playing the same thing, who can do it better? I get it. Like, I've been on the record saying back in like set 4 or 5, 3 or 4, whenever Amethyst, Amber, Hyper Aggro got really big for the first time, I didn't like playing it in general, but playing it against Jimmy, we did a mirror match of that, and we both knew the deck well enough that we were like, okay, I got to do an extra layer of thinking here, because I how to do all these things or whatever. So like there are levels to the mirror match that get enabled by having it that you don't have just playing random other decks or whatever. But I'm rambling now at this point, but I do understand why mirror matches are important and how people like them.
Okay. So next question.
Yeah, from Paul. He asked question. He started like Dwight from The Office. He goes, we know ROV is heading to Milwaukee, and we know the plan is to have all members make day 2. Let's go. But if that doesn't happen, do you plan to play in the Infinity event on Sunday? And if so, do you prepare, and how? Okay, how do we prepare for Infinity in an Infinity list meta right now?
First off, ROV is always prepared. Let's go ahead and settle that one right now. You remember that, all right? Don't forget it. And then second off, to answer the actual question, I'll probably have an Infinity deck made, and the prepare and how is going to be to net deck something online and maybe practice a little bit with Kirsten on maybe a deck test Tuesday. But ultimately, playing in the event is going to largely depend on the prize wall situation that we got going on here. So, we're going to have to do some maths and figure out how many tickets we need and how to get those tickets. Last time, we did do the large constructed on Sunday. And while it was a lot of fun, we ended up not like by design from Ravensburger or whatever. But what ended up happening is we kind of got baited into playing way later into the tournament and ultimately getting not much for it. And so if we had just like dropped earlier and then gone and played some other events, we could have gotten tickets a little more efficiently, is what we learned. But it was also, a lot of fun to play in a bigger event. So it'll all really depend on the ticket situation and how many of those items on the wall we need to get and how many tickets we can feasibly obtain. What about you? What about you guys? Desires to play Infinity? I know Vince is an Infinity and beyond kind of guy.
I'm going to keep an eye on what's going on in Infinity. A lot of places are, globally are have their Infinity night. Everything. We just saw Ink have their own Infinity tournament where we talked about earlier with Luke winning that all. The locally here, I wanted to plug the Collector Store is starting a Infinity night on Wednesdays as we're leading up to those DLC. So hopefully we get a lot more people playing that format so I can kind of feel out what's working over there. We got 30 something new cards this set, so not a whole lot has changed in Infinity, but there's no bans. 33.
Yeah. And honestly though, no knock to TCS, but there's a better game store to go to on Wednesday night, and that is Fortuna.
And they have open play, so you can play Infinity if you want.
I'm just saying.
I'm saying if there's constructed, I think they're trying to kick off a constructed event, which is great, and for the people who want to play that format, and again, the open play areas, I could plug game night as well, or play anything you want.
All right, well, I'm going to plug Bodox then. Okay, they're pretty cool too. They don't have an Infinity format, but you should still.
I was just plugging it because it was a Wednesday. That was the only reason I brought up Fortuna.
Oh, okay. Oh, we got off the rails there, but
yeah.
To answer you, Paul, I don't know how to prepare, because I solely leading up till Milwaukee, going to be trying to get as many reps in on whatever deck that I settle on playing there. So focusing on Infinity is going to be ridiculously hard for me. 2 different formats is like Andy said, I'm going to pick a deck and just go with it, but not expect anything with it because I'm not going to be able to put the time into it, let alone the time that I barely put into playing now, as opposed to, or in contrast to creating content and everything. I play a lot less than I podcast and talk about the game. So we'll cross that bridge when we get there. For me personally, I don't know. Infinity might not even be something that I play. Like Andy said, I might just hit whatever other side event I can optimize my ticket intake and hopefully get some cool stuff.
No. I mean, I think tickets are going to be the big thing, right? To try to maximize your ability to get the prize wall, particularly because we don't particularly know how hard or easy it is going to be to get tickets for future DLCs. So we want to be able to maximize these events. I mean, we do know that they're likely to increase the space in future events.
They're trying to.
Yeah, they're trying to. So this is kind of an opportunity. It's also hard to know whether or not any of us are going to be able to make it to a qualifier, right? Where they'll have some additional of these prizings as well. But with that being said, I'm very hot on the Infinity format. I think it's something very interesting. It's something I'm very curious about, particularly why I'm actually kind of excited and was thinking about potentially getting somebody like Alex, the Illuminator Fortune, on the show at some point, because he seems also really excited about that format, and talking to him a little bit about what what that looks like, what we can expect. And I think we've all talked a little bit about too. I wouldn't entirely be surprised. We don't know exactly what the Infinity format is going to be at the DLC, right? They're probably looking at some of these other tournaments to decide, because we don't have any banned or quote unquote limited type cards in the Infinity format. And who knows, those could be introduced. They could be using this DLC as a way to say, okay, now we've got more data on these 2 DLCs from Villainy and Milwaukee, and saying, hey, we're going to make some adjustments to the Infinity format card pool. So a lot of questions there, but I do think the Infinity format is great because you get to play with all your cards. You don't get to play what's in rotation.
What happens if they ban your boy Hiram in Infinity? You still an Infinity stan?
Yeah,
even if they do that to your boy like that, they're
gonna, they do it to my boy, man.
Your boy Hiram,
my boy Hiram
Man.
So just to be clear, you said we shouldn't talk about it, and yet you're the one who brings it up. So I just want to be clear.
I didn't get that memo.
I'm just really surprised.
Liar.
I'm just really surprised that Vince's main reason for wanting to play Infinity was not just Hiram, right? Like,
it's not just Hiram. I don't even know that I would play that deck, to be honest with you. I mean,
Wow.
I do think that deck
I bet
is
he plays
kinda fun.
Ruby Amethyst, like I said. This is all stemming from our show.
No,
prep
we're
chat.
not. We're not gonna
Yeah.
get it. We are. I'm vetoing that conversation.
Ruby Amethyst
Let's
would
just
get
put it
eaten.
that way. Let's just
After
put it
all
that
of
way.
that.
Let's
Yeah.
just put it that way. If you want to know more, go subscribe to our non-existent Patreon.
You can't keep saying that because eventually we might have one. They're going to be listening to old episodes.
Actually, no joke. The Patreon is coming. Truthfully, it is coming here shortly. Still details, so it won't be a joke, but
Shortly.
we'll talk about it when we get there. Next question.
Last question comes from Alec. He said, regarding Fabled, while I like a soft reset that helps add new players, I'm having a problem getting excited for Core Constructed since there aren't as many cards. I would prefer Infinity have a more thorough ban list and see more competitive play instead. Thoughts? And that's stemming back from our last question, or going back to our last question. I wanted to add on before we moved on that I think the DLC event, the big Infinity official Infinity event I said Infinity a lot there, at Milwaukee, will probably where they actually look at everything and make those decisions. They probably already have an idea of what to do with some of those cards there, and after Milwaukee they'll be like, okay, here's what we need to do for Infinity moving forward. I lost my train of thought with that because that was going back to the last one, but it is hard getting. I know Alec didn't spend a lot of time at game night on Monday to get excited because a lot of it could be that a lot of the cards that he wants to play aren't in rotation at the moment, which is why Infinity exists, but also Infinity saw at Ink. The blue steel is probably going, if you're not playing that, you're probably not going far, right? Like
you're definitely not going to be in the top 4 with Emerald Amber, right? And you're probably definitely not going to be in the top 2 with Ruby Sapphire.
Matchups, differentials exist, but what I mean was the reason why we had those bans. Yeah, I know, was because of the power of Hiram and just what blue steel, sapphire steel was doing at the time. But what I think Alec is asking here is when are those bans and when are they going to look at that? Because everything we're doing, as we talked about last week, is all entirely core constructed focused. And they haven't really made a point to make Infinity something focused on to make any kind of changes because it's just kind of there right now. Wondering what those are going to be.
I think his question is basically, how do I get excited for the set? Because the 2 options that he has, he's not particularly excited about. And having a problem getting excited for Core Constructed since there aren't as many cards. So the thing I would say to you is that less cards, I think, is better. If you go back to the chess analogy, we're trying to play, or at least for me, I'm trying to boil this game down to a game of skill where my skill and decision making beats yours. And when the card pool is shrunken, I'm able to more easily evaluate cards. I'm able to take my deck and say, look, what are the possible counters to it? Well, instead of having to look through 2,000 cards, I only have to look through 800, or whatever the number is. And so,
for those that are curious, it's 1,020. Just
1,120. Is that what you said?
1,020.
1,020. That's certainly better than what we had before. Infinity is like 2,000 cards or something like that. So, that is what I say to that. And I think personally, I like it. I like the reset. The Infinity part, they would prefer Infinity, but they would need to see a more thorough ban list, which I tend to agree with. And it kind of comes down to, if I had my way, if I was the one making the decision, and maybe this wouldn't be the right decision for Lorcana, but in my limited experience, I thought, okay, rather than rotate sets out, like rather than dump 1,000 cards and keep 100, why don't we just ban 100 cards, right? Why don't we keep all of the bulk cards, right, that aren't great, and let's just ban the really powerful ones and force them to find new powerful stuff in the meta. That is kind of what it seems like Alec maybe would want in Infinity. I want to play with all my cards, but I want to see a lot of this really powerful stuff still banned out, right? Well, it did. It's banned out in rotation, and you have a smaller set of cards to deal with, so it's easier to solve the meta, if you will. That's just my thoughts, Vince.
Yeah. Well, so I mean, just to be clear, like you think with rotation we would have lost a lot of cards, and we have lost a decent chunk of cards, but in Infinity there are 1,665 cards, legal cards.
So 600.
A lot.
So we lost about like 630 cards, and the reason though that number isn't a little bit higher is because this Fabled had so many reprints, right? So because of that, we didn't add a bunch of new cards to the pool of Fabled. But with that being said, I don't know. I mean, I tend to think like this meta is actually really interesting, right? Like it is a full new competitive meta, and now we don't have to worry, like, you know, getting excited about it. I think tends to be like, this is a great time, like if you've been taking a break from Lorcana for a little bit, to get back into it, because like it's easy to get a hold of a lot of the cards. I think, you know, there are really only a handful of cards that are really, really expensive that are exclusive to Fabled. And I'll be honest with you, like I think we talked about this last week with, say, like Dumbo. I don't think you even need that card if you don't
Overrated.
want to have it. That's my opinion on it. But we did see that in a lot of the decks at both of these competitions over the weekend. But I honestly think we'll see that card come down in price pretty significantly over the next month or so. And then as far as Infinity goes, like I think we will see bans in Infinity as we go on. Like that format is going to have bans. You know, Ryan Miller kind of alluded to this a few weeks ago in one of the lore casts where they were talking a little bit about like when we think about, you know, there are a few ways we can do rotation. We could reprint a card, or we could functionally reprint it. And the way you'd functionally reprint it is you would just create a new card that has that same ability, right? And you know, they have to be careful about that because they are also thinking about the Infinity format of the game a little bit. And the reason why I bring that particularly up is because it does seem in the design space of the game, they are thinking about cards that are coming down the line and thinking not only how do they interact in the core constructed format of the rotation, but also in the Infinity set. And so ultimately, like, I think the reason we didn't see, you know, I think people may have been surprised, like, why wasn't Hiram and Fortisphere banned in Infinity? If it was already banned in Core Constructed, why wouldn't you just carry over that ban? And I think part of it is they just want to see how this format plays out. And are these cards problematic? Because maybe in Infinity, with new cards, with Whispers in the Well and stuff, maybe these cards aren't as impactful. Or maybe instead of banning, you know, Hiram and Fortisphere, maybe you ban something like Bell, or maybe you ban something like Hiram and not Fortisphere, right? Like maybe you make different choices in that format.
Don't come for Hiram.
Than you do.
Vince will get mad.
No, listen, he's
Not
my
your
boy,
boy.
but I'm just gonna say, you know, you might make different choices in an Eternal format like Infinity at this point than you would in a Core Constructed format, you know, previously and stuff. Because here's the thing, it's like, I mean, we made fun of Brad, I think, for suggesting that Hiram was going to get reprinted in Fabled. That was like one thing, but actually, like, that's true. Like, totally something like that could happen. A card could get banned, and then they say, you know what, we're going to reprint that card in a future because he's no longer problematic in a new, like, whatever combo that they work with, he doesn't work with and stuff. So it's like honestly, Brad may turn out to be right. Maybe, who knows? In Whispers in the Well, Hiram does, my boy Hiram gets reprinted
with Popsicle,
or
or
Zootopia
coming back
2.
next step for sure.
and so who knows what happens? So I think it's hard. The reason why it's hard now to get excited is because this is the first rotation we've been through. It's the first set. It's a very large card pool that got reprinted, and Infinity is in its absolute infancy as a format. And so I think those two reasons do, but it's it's also okay to take a set off if that you're not feeling it, but also I just say hang on, it's gonna get better for both of these. We're gonna get new cards with Whispers in the Well. The core construct is gonna get a lot more exciting. There's a whole new mechanic that's rumored there, and I think Infinity is also gonna get really exciting too as more sets evolve.
It's gonna get exciting once we start banning cards like your boy Hiram. Anyway.
Anything else?
Yeah, I would just want to tell Alec not to take the set off like Vince suggested, even though you're welcome to, because I'll miss you too much, bud. So,
you can take the set champs off, though. I mean, just that's fine. If you need to take the set champs and not play in any of those, specifically,
so I have a better chance of winning.
Yeah, the ones that I'm playing in specifically, so that I have a better chance. I'm totally cool with that. I'm totally cool.
All right,
it goes for anyone out there.
Yeah. But that's it for the mailbag. If you guys would like your questions answered, please feel free to comment in the video section, the comment section below. We'll get your questions there. You can join our Discord from the link in the description. We have a Constituents Corner channel where all the questions get asked, where we can, we'll ask. Paul's going to think I had a stroke again. We will answer your question wherever you post it, socials, Discord, or in the comments below. And back to you, Vince.
All right, let's get back to the main segment here. So, talking a little bit about the developing meta here. It really seems to be an Amethyst meta, folks, out here. When we look at the CCS, the 25K, the invitational qualifier, we had 448 people of the top 16 decks. Granted, there were only 13 that we could find in Ink decks. Of those, 8 of them, at least half, I imagine more actually were Amethyst. We just don't know for sure. And then when we look at Ink, there's 226 in there. And even though Amber Steel actually made it out at top, Blurple was 3 out of the top 4, and Amethyst was in 15 of the top 16. Isn't that wild?
Yeah. That is.
Oh wait, no,
wild.
no, I'm reading. No, hold on. Sorry, that's not true. That's not true. Let me come back in again. 11 of the top 16 decks at 10 were.
So you got Dumble, Blurple, you got RA. And is this Amethyst Steel or Amber Steel?
It's Amber Steel. That's Amber Steel.
Okay.
So it's RA.
So it's 6 non. Oh, I guess Amethyst, Ruby Amethyst.
Yeah. So there's 11. Yeah. There's 11. So 11 of the top 16, but still, in both cases, over half, well, at least half or over half, were represented by a deck that had Amethyst in it.
I mean,
so what is it? So we on the ban Amethyst train?
No,
hearing a lot of in the woodworks on the internet.
There was some controversy on Twitter over the week, but. No, I don't think anything's bannable. I do understand the frustrations in a meta where it's, I mean, me and you had a game on Monday night, Vince, where neither one of us was turning anything sideways turns. And it's just well, I need something here to force the action, right? And I think one of the main cards that came up on Twitter during these discussions was the 5th Spirit, Elsa, because she comes out, she has Rush, she has Evasive, and she turns something sideways because we need to have that action in this game. Otherwise, we're just going to put down enough characters to quest for 20 and do it all on one turn, right? So we have to have the removal spells. We have to have ways to exert characters and force that kind of action. Or, what are we doing? We're not playing anything. We're just racing, putting cards down to see who can get the 20. So
sounding villainous there. Sounding villainous there. That Elsa 5th Spirit foreshadowing. Shadow.
I think. I mean. It honestly, a lot of this feels overhyped. I mean, we already talked about Dumbo. Elsa Fifth Spirit is great.
Dumbo
overhyped. I see in Vince's notes here 10
Dumbo
Dumbo Blurple. Do we know that all 10 of those had Dumbo in them? And we're playing like 4 Dumbo or like a significant amount of Dumbos? Because
I don't know if I did not check if all of them had. I mean, all of them did have Dumbo in them, but I don't know.
Tagged as like Dumbo Blurple. Oh yeah, I guess they are tagged as Dumbo
because they are Dumbo. Because once you add Dumbo into that deck, it becomes Dumbo Blurple.
Yeah, but I kind of feel like, especially with the discussion with Elsa Fifth Spirit, like if it's not Fifth Spirit, it's plenty of others. We saw it with Peter Pan. Or not Peter Pan, Pinocchio, right? The 2-cost Pinocchio that we used to use to exert. Brad's right. Removal for, clip
that.
Unexerted characters is at a very minimal. It's at a very low supply level. It is like Fabled pack supply level of low. But the demand for it is very, very high. Everyone wants lots of removal. So it's very hard to get. And so when the majority of removal is turning sideways, you can very easily tell if I exert this character, that character you have is going to banish it, and I'm going to get an unfavorable trade, right? Like they're going to get the better value out of it. So it's very easy to just like sit there in this stalemate because certain characters are locking down certain other characters, which then leads value to Amethyst, right? Because card draw is so important. And then it's also, because removal is so important, you have to go to one of these colors that has some sort of removal for non-exerted characters. But I don't think any of the cards that we have right now are particularly oppressive, like a Diablo was, or a Shark was even before, or cards like that. There aren't cards that like just totally ruin every game plan, like Be Prepared or Lucky Dime for instant wins and stuff. You're looking to try and get much more individual value out of individual cards, which is, I think, kind of a little more fun in the deck building. I certainly think it adds a lot more diversity, which we saw Emerald, Sapphire, Ruby, Amethyst, which is kind of crazy. Sapphire, Steel, also kind of crazy to think of. That these are making like top cut, which is just kind of proving that these decks are very much on the verge of being, tier 1 in line with Blurple and Amber Steel and stuff. And it's really fun.
I think it's one of those things, like, you got to put in context. We're going into week 3 of Fabled, and the meta is still evolving. We're still trying to figure out things, like, honestly, like, and I watched some of, like, I watched a lot of the Ink and CCS coverage and stuff, and talking about Dumbo. But you watch these matches and it's like, we talked about it last week, they ink Dumbo, right? Or they use it, and it's like, it's such an inefficient card, I think. But if you're high on it, that's fine, whatever. I'm not like gonna belabor that point a little bit. I think to Andy's point, though, is that when we talked about cards like the Maui Half Shark, we talked about those as like must answer cards on the board. There isn't. Oh, we got a Toby appearance.
Toby cuddling with the Winston
is
yeah, sometimes, yeah.
It is a must answer, and there's really nothing when I think of of the Amethyst cards where I'm like, man, this is gonna ruin my whole game plan and stuff. It's like, you think about it, and it's like, yeah, like, I do have to worry about something like Elsa Fifth Spirit because it can exert something of mine. But like, that's good. That's healthy for the game because we need something to force interaction on the board. Much in the same way, it's like, this is why, like, I think it's been said a little bit. We're kind of like moving more to like somewhat of a, like, rock, paper, scissors a little bit in some cases. You know, and we're seeing like different texts being done and stuff. So you see, you know, the response to say like, you know, Blurple is maybe Amethyst Steel. Like that tends to be a pretty decent matchup into that. We're starting to see then like the response to the draw power of this is we see Emerald Sapphire, right? Being able to take advantage of the draw power of Amethyst.
Greedy
and
draw.
And then turn around and be like, guess what? I get to keep all my cards and you don't, because we're going to bend to my will here. You know, and then use things like Under the Sea to be able to like effectively, you know, board clear a lot of boards and stuff. I mean, you know, so you know, I just think we're still really early in the meta game, and there's so many decision points too. Like, you know, it's like, you know, I would just say, like, be creative. I think there's an actual real opportunity here in this meta game to not necessarily net deck other folks, to take an opportunity to take advantage of seeing a deck like Blurple out there and be like, okay, yeah, maybe I don't have Dumbo. What other cards can I put in? You know, it's like, so Annie and I know really high on was it the Genie, not Wish
Supportive
Fulfilled,
Friend.
Supportive Friend and stuff, really high on that. And I think that's a really good card to put out there in there. It does raise your uninkability cards a little bit if you're
Yzma.
We've seen Yzma, Conniving Chemist, you know, make an appearance. So we've seen some of these cards that you know, support is another thing we're seeing a lot of, and a lot of decks to try to make useful of. You know, we see this with Basil, both in Blurple and in Sapphire Emerald. You know, is that like a 1-drop to come into it? What?
Sapphire Steel as well. Sapphire Steel allies.
I've never seen Basil in any of those decks. Basil's a hero. He's not an ally. And Basil is not in Emerald Sapphire or Sapphire Steel, I don't believe. It's only in
I've seen him in
one-drop in Sapphire
Emerald.
Steel.
Yeah, I've seen him as a 1-drop in Emerald.
Could be
Emerald Sapphire.
Must not have been a very good list then, in my opinion. But, no, I don't think he's really needed. He's not a part of the game plan like he is with Blurple, because the Basil with the Elsa is what takes out the Genie, the opposing Genie, in one fell swoop, and creates that chain of like, because something is now exerted. Because that's the biggest thing in my opinion, is this Elsa exerts something, and yes, we need that interaction with the board, but by doing the Elsa and then swinging in, you are yourself exerting your characters, and you're starting this chain reaction. And so if the other person has built up a better board, having the Elsa doesn't really mean anything. Like, oh, I got your Genie with my Basil Elsa. Yeah, but now I'm Calhooning your Basil, and I'm, you know, swinging my Genie Dragon into your Elsa. And it's like, you know, who got the better end of the trades there when all was said and done? So I agree we need to be able to exert things, but it's not as powerful as some people may think, in my opinion, because you also have to exert something to take advantage of the fact that you've just exerted one of my things, right? Like,
well, I mean, yes, maybe.
I mean, there's some scenarios where you can trade, right? And then there's nothing left exerted.
But yeah, but also like you could do things like Into the Unknown as well. You could do things like
something has to exert for Into the Unknown.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that you could use, but what you're arguing, what at least the way I understand it, is you saying it's like, Elsa's not that big of a deal because your opponent is also, you're having to exert something as well too. So it's like you're trying to figure out that advantage point to do that,
right?
And my point is to say, it's like if I play an Elsa, right,
and you exert my Genie,
my opponent exert your Genie, I don't have to turn anything sideways. I could just, you know,
pass the turn and let my Genie live.
No, I could play
hard
Into the
Unknown. So you have 8 ink and you've hard casted the Into the Unknown.
No, here's what he did on Monday: is he just loaded his board up with a bunch of 4 costs or just everything he possibly can. Then he played Big Elsa to exert to exert 2 characters, and then just sang Into the Unknown on every possibly. Like it was the most stalemate game for like the entire game. And I'm like, oh, that was cool, great. Now, how about I just scoop?
And that's
So
fine.
we're not getting anywhere.
But my point is that like, no matter what, in all of these scenarios, Elsa, little Elsa, big Elsa, whatever it is, when they exert something, unless you just like have a huge abundance of ink, you almost always need to exert something of your own in order to then remove that thing that you've exerted, to take advantage of the exertion that comes from Elsa. And in my opinion, you know, the key there is just like you're building these big stalemate boards. Make sure that when the dominoes start to fall, that you can take advantage of the board more than they can, right?
I mean, I think some of that though is a point to know, like when do you just got to take a risk and start turning things sideways on your own to quest, because at a certain point too, like especially like if you're playing, you know, a deck that maybe doesn't really do exerting stuff, you know, like you've got to still advance the lore state of the game, and you can't be necessarily scared that like what's going to happen, because then you put yourself in a situation where you're giving your opponent the opportunity to make their own favorable trades and stuff. So
I've seen some wild stuff this past week with Ruby Steel, I think, is on the up. I'm hoping somebody figures it out, because there are some cool things that you can do with challenging ready characters between Lisanne, the 4-drop Mulan, the 7-shift Mulan that gives other people the ability to challenge ready characters as well. And then just recently I saw people utilize in the action version of the deck, which I never thought of, was One Last Hope, which gives if you tag a hero with it, they get resist +2, and then they can challenge ready characters. And so when you're sitting if I had that in my deck on Monday night, I think we would have had a completely different game, Vince, because I didn't realize the power that card had. I had 2 sharks on board, and if I could just sing One Last Hope one time, that shark is going to start recurring. I'm going to sing it, I'm going to use that shark, I'm going to get it back and use it on the other shark, and then just start wiping stuff out. And I'm like, I really want to play around with this. I think there is something there. It just hasn't made its way into this, you know, top 16 that we're looking at right now, but it has potential to do it. Just those kind of combinations allow you to, you know, if people aren't turning things sideways, you're like, well, I got a way to take care of it my own way. You got Be King Undisputed, makes them pick. You got the cards that I mentioned already. There's probably other things as well. And
I like that line, Brad.
I'm excited.
Like Maui Shark on 6, and then Maui Shark on 7, and then Maui Shark on 8, and then Maui Shark on 9, and then on turn 10 you play One Last Hope on Maui Shark, challenge, get another one back, and just the recursion. Well, you said you had 2 Maui Sharks out. No, it's good.
Because I was able to because nobody was doing anything else in the game. But like it was a legitimate example, and then you're like, hey, let's make it even more ridiculous.
No, I'm sorry. But I guess my point here though is it's the same as the Elsa, right? So you use One Last Hope. Your Maui Shark does get to, like, you get to take out one of my characters, anyone you want, just like you could have with Elsa, to exert them to then take it out with a shark or any other character. But now the dominoes are falling. One of your characters is exerted as well, and I get to challenge.
You want to run into my shark? Go for it.
I'm right. I'm not talking about the nuance necessarily of that scenario, but if a shark runs into something, what are you going to run into? My most valuable character, maybe like a Yzma, right? So it takes 3 damage, no popsicles anymore to heal it. So now my genie dragon can run into your shark, and that's a great trade there. So the point though is just that while that is a good combo, I like it, just like I like the Elsa, and I agree that like you can cook all of this really fun stuff, but none of it is really that broken, because in the end, you had to exert something to take out my something. Yes, you got to be the one to start it, but I get to be the one to finish it, maybe. Or maybe you have a better board than me, and starting it is great, but like it starts that domino fall, and I don't know. Honestly, I really love it. I guess my whole point is that just like none of these cards are really that broken. They're all just another way to start the battle, get the battle started. Who's firing the first shots, right?
Yeah. That's a lot of stuff to figure out, and I want to get a lot more reps in because I think there's some really cool things out there, but just haven't figured out what my flavor is yet.
So, what are you testing out lately, Andy? I saw on Deck Tech Tuesday you had was it Sapphire Steel?
I think I played Sapphire Steel a little bit, but Amethyst Steel I think is a really strong deck. Britt had a great showing on it. We saw great showings. I really like the Yzma over the Dumbo, and I feel like the strategy of just essentially playing more cards than your opponent can deal with. Wide boards are a problem for every single deck except Emerald decks, specifically ramp Emerald decks that are going to be able to play something like an Under the Sea. So I really like the idea of just sort of flooding the board, and I think Doc and Yzma are great tools to help refill your hand.
Doc.
And
they
so
always find their Doc. It's insane.
Every turn. Top deck of Doc.
Every turn.
Doesn't matter. Always have them.
Yeah.
So Andy, you're on Amethyst Steel. Brad, you've been testing Ruby Steel. Is that right?
I tried it Monday night. The action version I found. I think it was from the Inkery. It was basically essentially just a net deck from Dreamborn. I thought it looked fun. It was a power line combo with actions and Maui Shark, and I had a lot of fun with that. But ultimately, I after this weekend, I fell on Humble, who I've looked up to in deck building with the Ruby Fossa. He went really deep at CCS with the with Blurple, with a Dumbo Blurple. So I took his list and I've been playing around with it a bit, but I wanted to kind of make it my own. So I threw in the 4-drop Kita and a couple Radigans. I can make him work again because he's always my spice card in Blurple last set. Oh, Radigan! And yeah, it seems fine. I'm sure I don't have enough reps in it yet to say otherwise, but I want to see work. I think Kita on 4. If you can work it out to get Kita on 4 with her ward and be able to ramp just a little bit quicker, then you got Hades a lot sooner. You got Radigan if you can get him out, and because anybody that wants to run into that, Godspeed, because you're gonna have to use a lot to take him out with the ward that he has on. So testing that out, and we'll see what happens with it. I might run it tomorrow night at Bodax. I think I found something else spicy that might be fun, but it's pretty meme worthy.
Let me ask you this, Brad. What you're on Blurple and you play Kita, right? On 4 or 3, turn 3, you play your Kita. Sure. And then they play like a Dragon Genie, a 3/4, right? Or they could also play Cobra, the 4/4. Do you still use that Kita ability?
What I do, not always. It's harder now because Fox doesn't exist anymore. I used to like to use the Kita ability, bounce her immediately with Fox, and then I could either ink her or do something else with her, or ink something else. But Fox doesn't exist anymore, right? So now we have the elephant. So now a lot of times it's ink with Kita, and then if I have the elephant, I can ink something, bounce her, and then the elephant's sitting out there for the next turn. Unfortunately,
that's not very ink efficient though for Kita that turn, right? Because you're 1 ink short. You'd have 5 ink that turn.
No,
did you play Kita? Then the next turn.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah. It's just that was what it was with Fox, right? Yeah. Right. So I mean, Donald Elsa might be a better play there. Yeah, I don't have Donald aggressive. In there.
You have Elsa. Yeah. If you have Kita out there, you're not being very aggressive. And then the other one you said was the Radigan, which what is it? Is it a 4/7 or is that a what is it?
It's a hold on, I got to pull up the list. It's a 6 something. I think it's 6/7 maybe.
6/7. So I think there's maybe 1/6/7. Then I think there's like 0 answers to that Radigan. Period. The only answer is you not inking because there's no B prep. There's no.
That's where Kita comes in if she's still out there. Yeah.
So there is no B prep. There is no, unless it's the only character, a B king, right? So as long as you play it with a Tipo or something like that, Hades, Into the Unknown, Elsa, all of these cards that are strength, you're welcome, all of these that are the answers to single target are the single target removal we have in the game currently. none of them work on this Radigan. He quests for 4, so you're just like guaranteeing yourself 4 lore for that character.
That's why I wanted to play. Most of the time in the old set, the old days, last month, I would run a 1 of Radigan just for spice. If I could get him out there, great. And it was a real good bait at the One for All Games 1K. I got him out twice, and it was essentially it was against a Ruby Sapphire items deck, and he had no choice. He'd only have like 2 cards in hand, and of course one of them was Be Prepared, and he'd have to use, because he's like, I can't let you quest with this stupid Radigan, right? So it was a bait card to get rid of a Be Prepared. Then maybe I could load up the board again, and it worked effectively. The only reason I got 1 game off of Brad was because I did so much goat bouncing in my first game with him, and then it just went downhill from there. But now that I got 3 Radigans and 3 Koeteeuws, I find myself getting a little bit, getting to him a lot quicker. The problem is what I keep doing is altering into him, so I'm automatically just throwing it away, because it's ink for the first several turns if you're unfortunate enough to pull him in there for that early.
It's a closer.
But yeah, it's a closer. So if I have Koeteeuw, I try to get her out if the board allows me to. A lot of times, that's also the game where you're wanting to get more cards. So Genie is the optimal play always on turn 3, just to replace itself. But yeah, I try to keep a healthy hand. I finally went on the 2nd star wagon because that's what Humble was running, and
I was going to ask.
wanted to see if that actually feels good. What's that one? I can't read it from here.
2nd
it's too small on my screen.
To the right.
Oh, does that have an enchanted?
Yes, it's
enchanted.
This is the enchanted Brad.
I know.
Do you
Your
see?
screen is very small. It's very
Why is
small.
my screen very small.
I don't know, but
Brad's over here watching Vince in full screen.
No. I have you guys minimized at the very small top of my screen, but yeah, I've tried that out. It's fine. If I have it in the altar, a lot of times I TPO it away, but if I can get it off, it's very effective. But yeah, 2 Dumbos. Humble was running 4, and then I just made room. I kicked a few things here and there to throw in 3 Koeteeuws and 3 Red. Baymax is clutch. I'm happy to have Baymax in here again. When he dropped an Azurite Sea, I tested with, really liked him. It just didn't really fit in at the time. But we saw a Zenulus post after the opening weekend that card alone got him like 30k or 30 lore over the weekend. Humble ran it. In the practice that I've had with it so far, well, he's great to run something into right before you play him, and then just get that automatic lore when you drop him. And heal up one of your characters to last another turn. So I've been finding a lot of success with that. The only problem I have with the deck. What?
Did you have anything to run into, though, is the problem, right? You get in
sometimes not. Yeah, when you play Vince,
Elsa,
of course not.
And then run into something, and then the damage has to stick, and then it's also competing with your Bell for damage.
Exactly.
It's
that's
reach.
Another thing to balance too.
I would almost think that Baymax and Radigan serve the same role, and you maybe look to cut some of the Baymax in exchange for the Radigan, or vice versa, because it's really just reach, right? Baymax is a terrible card if you need to remove your opponent's board. It's terrible if you need to control the board in any way. It's really just there as a healthcare companion.
Yeah, but he essentially quests for 4 as well. Like you said, like you said, reach with him and Radigan both essentially getting
Andy
4,
is, for our audio listeners, is showing a Baymax coffee mug.
It's got the little
I find
kitty cat.
Yeah, it's cute. But I find myself challenging in, and if I don't have the bell to move any damage or whatever, and I have the Baymax, it allows my characters to stick around most of the time a little bit longer to challenge again, and his ability just keeps going until they find a way to get. So if he's getting 4
you play
lore
this
every time,
and the Bell Accomplished Mystic.
Yes, currently
they serve 2 different purposes. While they both take the same food, right? Like Hiram, his food is items. Bell and Baymax's food is damage. They have the same food. They have 2 different purposes. If Bell, I've also considered playing like the Panic. Panic is in the same category as Bell. It removes damage. It moves damage to do and helps you remove characters. Baymax is just
pure health or pure
heal for lore, right? It's I don't want to say it's greedy, but it's for reach, right? Its sole purpose is to gain lore. It has no.
I mean, I get that, but it feels like at that point, like you kind of when you're at 5, right? Ink, you kind of want to make a
offensive move,
a bit of a decision, yeah, and that feels.
Baymax is like a turn 20 play or something.
Yeah, it feels like very off tempo in my opinion.
He's only a 2 of, but the times that I've gotten to use him, he's been very effective. And like you said, Andy,
I don't doubt it.
There are decisions where it's, do I play Bell if I have both? What do I want to do here? What's their board look like? What's mine look like? How can I optimize each one of these? And then I just gauge it from there.
So if you've got Radigan and Baymax in there, what don't you have? That is generally so. What do you not?
Dumbo.
Have?
I have 2 Dumbos, and again, he's one of the cards where it's just like, if I get him out, great. If not, I don't care. He's in the ink. Yeah, but I don't know what should I be missing here. I'm not running your G. I don't like that card on the draw. I got 4 Hades, 4 Elsas, 2 big Elsas, 3 Radigans. I mean, I could put it all in. I could share my screen even.
No, don't do that.
Yeah,
it'll mess up, it'll mess up
everything. Yeah,
but are you? Have you just? I guess Vince is just asking. Did you decide on
Finders Keepers?
You don't have Finders Keepers at all?
No.
How many second stars do you have?
2.
2. Okay. I mean that's fair. You could draw much later, especially if you're refilling your hand with.
Yeah.
You are running only offensive 1-drops. Basil,
I got
Rafiki,
3 Rafiki and 3 Basil. Yep.
No
Royal
Diablo.
Guard.
Not a Royal Guard.
Diablo might be. I saw an interesting combo the other. I played a Ruby Amethyst, and they were running Glimmer versus Glimmer, and then they had Diablo out there, so they could banish their Diablo for a draw. They could quest the Diablo, banish it to get the draw, and then banish one of your characters just for.
Pretty good.
I was like, that seemed pretty good in the given the current status of the meta, where like you get a card from it, you remove something for it. Yeah,
that kind of
never saw that card played before.
Yeah, that's interesting.
We're willing to throw away our cards for card draw. We do it with Genie. We do it with Scar. Scar throws away a card to get a bunch of card draw. So
I guess you don't have Monstro in your deck. No Monstro.
I miss Monstro, but like against your deck, Monstro does nothing because everything's evasive.
And this is
right. So like,
and this is how I beat
in another deck
Amethyst Steel. Is because without Monstro, if every turn I'm putting 2 to 3 characters on the board and you're only putting 1, even if that one removes one of mine, I still come out net positive, and I'm just able to quest and quest and quest, and
possibly.
I mean, that's how I beat Blurple, is by just going wide, right? Blurple's not good against going wide.
Can't always though.
Yeah,
but most, a lot of times.
I play Doc.
But like, I feel like it's a good matchup.
Yeah,
it's a good matchup. I mean, I got within 1 or 2 lore with Nick on Thursday, and it wasn't running this version of the deck either. But like, it was, I think it's a really, really good matchup. Next to, we talked about Blurple versus Blurple earlier. There's a lot of navigating now that the decks are kind of, I don't want to say settling, but we know what the decks are currently and how they're evolving. Like, there's a lot of thinking into what to do on each individual turn. So they're good matchups, and probably find out tomorrow how they go, or last night when the people are listening.
All these big events, so much Blurple. Blurple has been the most dominant color at every one of these events, and yet none of them have been won by Blurple. So I don't know. Maybe that's the first. Maybe they're just waiting for Brad to put Blurple on the map.
I do.
Yeah, right.
In fairness to Blurple, is I think what's happened here is I think people knew that Blurple is going to be one of the top decks to go
weeks ago.
So a lot of these decks are very teched to Blurple, and so now Blurple will have to respond to the techs that have been made against it to see. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know that the answer is there, but anything else that you both want to add before we move on to our next segment?
I don't think so.
Not really.
What did we talk about? What you settled on, Vince? You're just Blurple? Nothing else on your
Oh,
mind?
yeah, no, I guess we didn't talk a little bit. Sorry. That was so long ago. I forgot I even asked that question. It feels like so long ago. So I've been playing Blurple. I've been trying different variations of it and stuff. I've actually my current evolution of Blurple doesn't have Dumbo in it at all. I had it in there and I took it out. And I've been playing a little bit of Ruby Amethyst. It's a more action heavy kind of deck, and I don't love it.
Are you running Glimmer versus Glimmer?
I'm not running, so it's not like a damage kind
Maybe
of matter.
Glimmer versus Glimmer isn't damage.
Glimmer, yeah. What?
That's just pure banish. That's just pure banish.
Yeah. So have to maybe think about something like that. Maybe so I was testing out Ruby Amethyst, and honestly, you got me a little intrigued about some Ruby Steel, even though I wasn't impressed with it on Monday.
It's my first time playing it.
Thumbs down.
You kind of you talking about it. Some of those things seem interesting, so I'd be
750 subscribers on the YouTube, and Vince will play Ruby Steel at every single set chance.
No, not me. Brad will. It's Brad's turn now.
I will. I'll do it anyway. I'll do it anyway.
It's Brad's
Brad's turn now.
I'll do it.
I just want to go back. To Vince beats me on Monday night, the second time ever playing this deck, and he's like, "Oh, I'm not impressed with that." Oh, so good.
That is easily C tier. No, thank you. Be gone, Ruby.
Drink my water with my pinky up.
All right. And with that, let's move on to
Villain of the Week.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting to use the reverse voice changer and pitch Vince's voice up so it sounds like he's taking a bunch of helium on that. Just to mess with him.
You mean like this? You mean like this?
Yeah. I gotta do that so that Vince thinks he's being all demonic, but he's actually not. He's Lollipop Guild.
Who's doing it?
You are, sir.
I'm doing it. Apologies to Gantu from Set 5, Shimmering Skies. Are we going to hail Gantu? Are we going to hail?
All hail Gantu.
Oh my gosh.
All hail.
Elsa, the 5th spirit, 5 cost Inkable, 2 strength, 5 willpower, 1 lore, Dreamborn hero, queen, and sorcerer. With the ability, or she has rush and evasive, and the ability crystallize when you play this character. Exert chosen opposing character. Art by Lisanne. Koeteeuw. I know that I mispronounced that. I
listen. That's why I was like, "This is all on Brad." I'm not reading that.
I can probably Google it. Koeteeuw is how I'll say it. But yeah, this card, Shimmering Sky, has been out and been an instant 4 of, I think, in almost every Amethyst deck, right? Just because of every single stat that she has. The rush, the evasive, and exerting something, as we talked about earlier, forcing the action in this meta is incredibly important. And I think this is one of the cards that, with the rotation, got even stronger, even more valuable, and easy to obtain because it's in the single player decks from those sets as well. So if you want to play set of those foils and soon to be promos coming up in the gift sets in stores in October, and the DLC, or the DLC is the same one, I think, right? So 3 different versions of this card are going to exist.
What? No, I think I don't. I think you may be mistaken here. First off, I don't think this card was a foil in in the set 5.
Yeah,
starter deck,
because it's the only foil that I have.
Okay. The gift set one is the Lilo box that's coming out in early October. The Elsa at DLCs, I'm pretty sure, is the
you're right.
Ink Elsa.
It's the Floodborn one.
It's the dual ink Elsa that does something that is actually not as bad.
It's a lot of text. The first time we talked about it was too much text, not good. But I think it's going to over time be better.
This Elsa is on the box art for the starter deck for Shimmering Skies.
Okay.
So she's absolutely the foil. Yeah.
The other Elsa from the DLC is whenever this character quests, you may exert chosen character. If you do and have a character named Anna in play, they can't ready at the start of their next turn. Which honestly is not a terrible card in my opinion. It's uninkable, but
You know what?
That is
Coming
not
from
what is
Andy,
on trial
We're not
here.
talking about
That's
that
high
card.
praise.
Yeah.
That's high praise. When he says it's not terrible, that
And
is
it's
like
also
that's
a flip
basically
flop
him
because he
saying it's
hated
good.
it when it
That's
came out.
high praise.
High praise.
But no, this card has been like as I said, and I think every Amethyst deck would probably run for it, especially now because of this, the ability to exert something, let alone have rush on it. She only has 2 strength, so it balances out a little bit. She doesn't cleanly take out a genie, but as Andy said earlier, with the 1-drop Basil that is now in Blurple, if he's still on the board and dry, he just he's a 2/1 with support. You hit this Elsa with it as she comes out, and then she just takes out a genie cleanly. So it's just very, very good. It's been around for 4 sets now, and it's like I said, even more valuable now to have in your deck, and which is why we nominated her tonight and wanted to talk about her, especially since she was the cause of a lot of the discussions this week on should we be banning anything this early in the meta.
So
banner. That's in fact actually that's going to be the
thumbnail.
Thumbnail. This
text.
card should be banned. This ban.
Did we do that last week?
I don't know. We can keep doing it. We can.
We said is overrated
all the time.
Anyway.
I mean, honestly, truth be told, the last time we did that, we got Bucky banned. So who knows? Maybe we
also got a Maleficent Enchanted too. Like we've done a lot of things. For this
so
game.
I don't know.
Think a lot of people
maybe we are marching along, and in a few weeks, this also the Fifth Spirit will be banned.
Maybe we're Lorcana.
Let's not though, because I really like this card, and we need this card.
I agree. I don't want it to be banned either.
So I've been working on my Amethyst Steel list. It is very much inspired by our teammate Britt's list, as well as some of the other winning lists and well-performing lists, as well as my own bias towards certain cards. Fun game here. I'm going to list you a bunch of 5-drop cards, and I want you to tell me which ones you think are in my Amethyst Steel list. Okay. We got Elsa, Belle, Finders Keepers, Bagheera, and Winnie the Pooh Honey Wizard.
Okay, so Honey Wizard is not in there.
I'm going to say that it is, because why would he not? Why would he throw it there? Like I think he has a 1 of it. What?
Because it was on the page here. I just threw it in. Vince is right. It's not in there.
Yeah. There's. I was like, there's no way. There's not a universe.
You're right.
Where Andy puts that.
You're right. But the way that he asked it, I'm like, he's gonna pull a fast one on us and say actually it is.
No, it's simple, right? Like we've got a lot of good 5-drops. You got Elsa, Belle, Finders Keepers, Bagheera, even Namari could maybe be argued. Which of those do you think I'm playing in my Amethyst Steel list?
Amethyst Steel one. Well, I definitely think you're playing this.
Maybe 1 or 2 of Belle. I don't think you're right. If you're running Finders Keepers, it's Spices. I don't think Nick or Britt or anybody of the decks that I've looked at run that.
I don't know. I feel like Bagheera is not your speed.
Bagheera's pretty good card.
It is a good card, but I just feel like that's not like when I think of Bagheera, I'm not like, oh, Andy would love this card. I feel like Andy
now I'm considering playing Bagheera because it is a really good card. I do really like that card. But
I'm gonna say 4 of Elsa, 2 of Belle.
It's only Elsa. It's only Elsa.
Only Elsa.
And honestly,
only Elsa.
Between you guys and me, I ink Elsa a lot. Like, early on, I throw it away.
I'm a little surprised.
I'm not that.
Do you just then rely on? Do you just rely then on Doc and the Genie Wish Fulfilled for your card draw?
Yzma is my.
Oh, Yzma. Okay, all right. That's right. I always forget because honestly, what I would have said is you had this card and you had Finders Keepers because you like to draw cards.
I do really like to draw cards, but I'm almost considering Bagheera as maybe being a testing card in the deck because the strategy of the deck is really to, the strategy of the Amethyst Steel deck is really just like flood the board with a ton of really good value characters, and then be able to refill your hand with cards like Yzma and Doc. And I don't find Elsa, like I'm not trying to win that evasive war. By the time that evasive war is ready to come to fruition, I've already quested like 8 lore already, and I'm just like gonna play 2 or 3 characters every turn. You're not gonna be able to keep up with my board. So
I think the only risk though with that is like it's only when it's banished in challenge, right? That it does splash damage.
Nope, banished period, but it's only on your opponent's turn. So I can't control when the splash damage happens for Bagheera, but on a turn where if I'm largely,
but what I'm saying is, it's like putting it in your inkwell with like Hades or
that's not being
right.
banished.
It's only
that would be
banished.
banished.
Right, it's not
that would
banished.
just
It's
only
banished.
banished.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know that we have any cards left that, I guess maybe like Merlin Turtle or something, but there's very few cards left that have an on leave play ability. Right? There's a lot of on entering play and a lot of when banished, but there's not a lot of when removed from play, which is what Goat and Rabbit said, that allowed you to draw that card, even if they were Hades or, Under the Seed or something like that. But yeah, maybe I'd, try out Bagheera, but Elsa is really, really strong on decks that are going Amethyst decks that are going further in the game, like a Blurple, largely because it helps them break the stalemate. It helps them win the genie war, if you will, with that basil, like Brad said.
We're animals.
I would think what I've seen in the limited games that I've had against Amethyst Steel is that you said you ink her a lot. Is it just because you get her too early? You don't have range, so you're waiting 5 turns to play her. But is it a choice to ink her because just because you have nothing better to ink, or do you just don't think you're going to find use? It sounds like you don't have use for. You don't think you have use for it, because I would think that you get Calhoun out there unless you're not running. Are you running Calhoun?
I have Calhoun, and Calhoun would be nice. But now imagine so turn 1, I put out a 1-drop. I put out Calhoun on turn 2. I play the Cobra and discard something to gain 2 lore on 3. Now, if my 1-drop is a Diablo, I can just turn that sideways and wait, because Calhoun is waiting for whoever takes out that Diablo. Calhoun can strike.
Yep.
So the Calhoun's got that on lock. Then the Cobra.
What about your genie? Do you have
Cobra?
the genie, the evasive on your turn?
No, I've been testing it like
3, 4,
2 of or something. But I think I'm taking that out because I found that not as useful. But turn 3 and then turn 4, I play Yzma, and then turn 5, imagine. So if I have the Yzma and it survives turn 4, this is my turn 5. I'm very low on cards in hand. Let me ask you what you would rather do. Would you rather play an Elsa, exert something, challenge in with one of those other 3 characters? Sure, Calhoun's not bad. The even if it's a bigger character, I can do it with the Cobra is not bad. Or would you rather ink that, draw 3 cards, play another Calhoun, play a Captain Hook, and play another Diablo, or play a Genie and a Diablo? And like, I'm looking for, the cards all have good quality, so I'm kind of looking for the quantity of them. I'm looking to just try and flood the board with a bunch of cards, and I often find that on turn 5, I'm not really in the position to want to like start a fight with my opponent, but really just continue saying, look, you got to deal with this. I'm going to keep doing stuff and threatening you, to your answers. Like I guess that's also comes into the play where we were talking about before, where I'm not as worried about who starts the war, who fires first, right? Because I'm setting up my board so that once the dominoes do start to fall, I'm going to be ready to do something with them. And so it's fine if you don't have, in the way I'm trying to play, ideally you don't have anything to Elsa me on, right? Because I've already turned that sideways, because I'm thinking, well, you could just turn it sideways with Elsa. Might as well just give it to you, because whenever you do challenge it, I know I have the clap back to respond. So
but I guess a question I have for you. So if you play Yzma like on 3, are you then exerting that 4? Are you exerting that next turn to draw 3 cards?
Unless for some reason I have an abundance of cards. Sometimes I won't, but the longer I leave it out there, especially against Blurple, by that turn, my turn 5, they're getting very close to Hades, and then it just goes away. So I almost always am turning it sideways and using its ability. I will often. I'm still trying to figure out whether I want to turn Yzma sideways and gain 2 cards or 2 lore. If I don't have an empty hand, do I want 2 cards? Do I want 1 card? Or do I want to just quest and get 2 lore? Or do I risk it for the biscuit? It definitely depends on the board state, but enough about Yzma. Yzma's biggest threat is honestly Elsa. This Elsa, because if I play it on 4 and on their turn 5 or their turn 4, if they're ramping with Blurple, and they can turn my Yzma sideways and they have something out like a Pleakley, or really Blurple doesn't really have anything too threatening. I guess, a Rafiki actually would be a problem.
Rafiki, Basil, and Basil into Elsa. That combo. I mean, that's you nailed it on the head earlier. And she comes out and the current meta strikes for 4 because Basil's probably out there. And if you never turn him sideways and they didn't move him with fire the cannons or something, he's just waiting to buff her up a couple turns later. So
I mean, not to detract further from Elsa, but one of, I think, a great play in a lot of these matchups is, especially in the mirror matchup, but Pete on 3, or really any 3-drop on 3, then you could sing Strength with that 3-drop, like a White Rose, a Pete, or the Cobra. You can sing Strength and take out whatever one of their like 3 or 4 threats is the most threatening, right? So whether it be their own Cobra, their own Yzma, that Basil that you think is going to combo with the Elsa, whether it be the Genie, because the Genie Dragon, because you can do 4 damage, right? Because you've got a 1/2, your 3-drop comes down. If it's a Pete, it stops them from actioning. Otherwise, on turn 4, you play your Yzma, 4 characters, boom, 4 damage, take them out. It works really well. But Elsa, I guess all of that comes back to my point being, even though I think Elsa is not the greatest card in my game plan and in my deck, it is still a 4 of in my deck, and I'm not really considering removing it anytime soon because it is a very, very good card. It is a very villainous card, and
she's the villain in Frozen, right?
Yeah, she's the villain. I'm really disappointed that she doesn't have a villain tag.
She really should. She has a hero tag, but she is a villain in our hearts.
She's not. In the original draft, she was, but she's not.
Let's
anyway.
Move on to the artist showcase tier.
You want me to do it still?
Yeah.
You want to take it? I've been doing a lot of talking. Yeah, it's 16 cards in the arsenal here for Lisanne. Legendary Amber Aurora from last Waking Beauty is one. 2 Enchanteds, the Mirabelle Madrigal and the Restoring Atlantis, both from a couple sets ago. And a couple other notable cards are the Eric and Vanessa, or not Vanessa. Well, I guess she's in Vanessa. The Eric and Ursula combo, Amber combo.
The
Bride, yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Ursula Deceiver. She's got 3 different prints of those between the D23 set and the print and the reprint. And some other Dive Bomb, On Your Feet Now. Hey, of course. The Ravensburger loves Hey. She's got the last one. I think he was the Sapphire. Hey was the last one, right? So.
And then these 2 Enchanteds.
Those 2 Enchanteds, and we'll have the link to there. I'm sure every artist has an Instagram. If they do, well, we'll find out where their art is at online and have it in a link in the description for you to check it all out.
Speaking of, I was gonna say, speaking of Enchanteds, the Restoring Atlantis. Yeah. You have that one, Vince? I think it's one of the few I don't have. It.
I thought you got several of them at
Restoring. No, that's this Desperate Plan. Restoring Atlantis.
Man.
It actually, when it originally came out, I hadn't seen Atlantis in a while, and I was like, meh. But now that I've seen it recently, and the artwork on it is actually really, really nice. Brad has it. Wow. Trade it to me, Brad. Trade it to me.
Pulled it from the. I got the only thing that I will trade my Restoring Atlantis for is an iconic Mickey.
I'll give you this Rules of Villainy.
An iconic Mickey. That is not even a fair realm of a trade.
It depends on how bad Andy wants it.
I'll give you an Enchanted Pooh Honey Wizard sticker.
I was gonna say I'll take the Enchanted Pooh Honey Wizard.
It's an enchanted sticker, though. It's an enchanted sticker.
I bet he could probably sell the iconic Mickey and buy 12 of the Restoring Atlantises.
Restoring Atlantis is $40 approximately online.
Oh,
so
even cheaper. So you could buy 20 of them.
I was gonna give it to Katie. If I don't know when I'll ever see. I mean, I guess we'll
get
here in
it
Milwaukee,
signed by her.
Yeah, I'll probably just get it signed by her at this point. But because she probably has it. But she revealed it when the base card when it came out. So when I pulled it from a trove from Target, oh, that's Katie's card.
Nice.
Oh, so you all are getting Enchanteds in your troves at Target. That's great.
Target packies, no good. Target troves,
pretty good.
Yes. Wow.
Well, I will say I can't say Target packies are bad though, because
yeah, Mr. Elsa. Why don't you put it up for prizing for our Enchanted Elsa 1K or Enchanted Elsa set championship?
Well, you put up your play set of bells and your bell enchanted.
I can't. Those were the bell enchanted maybe, but the other ones were gifts. I can't do that. I can't give those away.
You can do whatever they want. They're yours now.
I'm just happy.
No, that would be disrespectful.
I'm just happy that
it's not disrespectful.
No longer has
they belong to you.
The most rarest expensive card on the podcast. Him and his $800 Elsa can sit down, get back in line.
I bet if I asked if I'll trade you my Elsa for that card, I bet you'd say yes.
No.
Wow.
Heck no. No way.
Yep. I bet you'd say yes.
Nope. First off, it'd be up to Kirsten, and there's no way. There's no way she would say yes. This card
absolutely no way. Why would you ever trade that card?
Way better. Way better. Looks so much nicer too.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree. It looks nicer. I would rather have that card than.
You know what Kirsten has to do? She just has to win the Enchanted Elsa at the. At the
That's true. That's true. I'm just saying though the Enchanted Elsa is been a pretty stable in value. People are still pulling those Mickey Iconics.
Still playable.
You know why people are still pulling the Mickey Iconics is because it is the set that is out right now.
And honestly, no one's pulling Mickey Iconics because there's no product to be had anywhere. The game's over. I'm selling all my product.
Yeah, thank you, Captain Obvious. Anyway, let us know your thoughts on the Villain of the Week. We hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you're joining us on audio, please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen.
And if you're joining us on YouTube, which if you're not, you really should. We have a lot of fun over here. Like, subscribe, ring that bell. Join us for all of our fun content. Brad's doing the meta reports again. So that's definitely worth watching. October 4th. Be there. Or be online at our YouTube. Take it away, Brad.
We understand your time is valuable, so we appreciate you spending a little bit of it. If you would like to follow along as we plot our devious plans, consider following us on our socials. We're on Instagram, Blue Sky, and the platform formerly known as Twitter, as well as TikTok at Rules of Villainy. We also have a growing community on Discord, which you can join with the link in the description.
You know, we should put like a QR code right here on the video.
Why?
Just so people could scan the QR code, so they don't have to go to the description. So they could join our.
It's in the description.
I mean, I get it. It's in the description, but we could also have as a QR code. I'm just saying. Until next week, stay safe, fellow villains. Be wary of wannabe heroes who want to disrupt your villainous plans. And as always, remember the rules of villainy.
We could also put our URL in Morse code.